How's it going, y'all? This is my informative speech for public speaking. I am Sean Bundy. Um, what I'm basically going to be talking to y'all today about is just how to use and ride a dirt bike effectively. A little statistic from back in 2003. Actually, the CDC recorded that statistics from all around the United States, the hospitals recorded up to 57,000 injuries from under the age of 19 from dirt bike or motorcycle related accidents. But what I want to present to y'all today is just how for people who haven't ridden or anything, who I don't know. I just want y'all to safely and effectively know and acknowledge how to use and ride a dirt bike. But what I'm going to talk to y'all about is basically how to ride and use it. But now keep in mind, my first time ever riding a dirt bike was literally the last week. My buddy, showed me. I've never tried to use it before, ever, any of that in my whole entire life. Got it up in about 10, 15 minutes. Wasn't even that big of a deal. But today I'm going to basically just go about just the main parts, how to start it, and how to ride it. Just kind of the basics for everybody. But now that we're aware of how difficult it might seem, I'm going to go over the main parts for y'all. Now, for the main parts, on the starting end, you're going to find the fuel and off switch right in the middle of the engine and the choke. They're right next to each other. Now, the fuel and on-off switch says the name on it. The choke is right next to it. You'll be able to point it out. On the right side over here is a starter bar. You're going to pull that out. On the right handle over here, you have your front brake and your throttle, which is your acceleration. Your left handle right here is the clutch and the kill switch. Um, but basically, the main parts are on the right side, you have your back brake, and on the left side where your foot is placed, on both sides where your foot is placed, you have your shifter as well on your left foot. This is where the clutch and everything comes in place. But now that y'all know, all the main parts, I'm going to teach y'all how to get it started. Now, with started, now you have to prepare to start it. That's where the fuel on and off switch and the clutch comes in place. You're going to come down here, you're going to turn it on, and then you're going to pull the choke upwards. This basically just gets the gas pumping and everything in order for y'all to start it up. But now that we're ready to get it started and it's all warmed up, basically you're gonna make sure your shifter, which is over here, is in neutral. Now, when you push the shifter down, that puts it in first gear. Now, when you pop it up once, that puts it in neutral gear for you. So after it's in neutral, basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your starter bar on your right side, you're gonna pull it out. You're going to basically take your right foot and you're going to kick that starter bar down as hard as you can, and bam, it'll start it up for you right in a second. Now, I got a little fact from dirtbikefrequentlyaskedquestions.com. It's a great resource, just for everything you need to know about dirt bikes. It says, if not the first time, try again. Remember to push the peg as far down as you can, and if it doesn't work, the first time, then try it a second time and put all your weight into it. But lastly, get off, and what you got to do is once it's started and everything, you're going to go back to your clutch and you're going to pull it up. That turns off the clutch for you. But now that you learned how to start it up and everything, I'm going to teach you how to safely and efficiently learn how to clutch, do all that stuff, learn how to ride it. But it can be pretty difficult. Once you learn the basics of shifting, it gets easier, and as you ride it, it just gets easier and easier. So first of all, when you're shifting, you always have to have the clutch in, which is on your left handle. It's basically like a manual stick shift car. If you all know how to do a manual stick shift car, you'll have a lot more, less troubles or anything. But first, to get in first gear, once it's started and everything, you're gonna pull this clutch in right here. Basically, the first gear is to push it downwards, where your shifting gear is right here. Once it's in neutral, you have your clutch in. Basically, you push that down, the shifter down into first gear. Once you're in first gear, it's like a manual car. You slowly let out the clutch and you slowly start, accelerating, and eventually you'll start going in your first gear. Now, once you get on your first, it gets a little easier. You go into second and third and fourth and whatnot, depending on how high the RPMs are and all that stuff. Now, in order to get to second gear, once you're in first gear, you're already riding. Now, if you hear the rum, 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 that means you're basically going over, the RPM you need to shift up. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to pull that clutch in again. You're going to take your left foot, you're going to put it under the shifter instead of over it, and you're going to pull it up one notch, which puts it into second gear. the third, fourth, fifth, so on. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing, pull the clutch in, push it up one more for third gear, do the same thing, push it up for fourth gear, blah, blah, so on, so on. But now, if you want to start shifting down and you want to start going slower, keep in mind you have to do the same thing, click it down once if you want to go down into a different gear. Now, when you use the brakes, you have to keep in mind that the right handlebar is the front brake and does not need to be needed unless you're off-roading, going uphill or anything. The back brake on the right side where your right foot is where it needs to be. You're basically, the right foot you just push down and it'll be like a brake or anything other. But once you finish riding the bike, we have to turn it off. So basically you're going to put that shift back into neutral. Once you're stopped, you're going to hit the kill switch, which is a red switch on the left button. But to wrap things up, basically I've explained everything you need to know about the riding, the parts, everything you need to know about starting it up, how to clutch, how to shift and everything. It might be difficult at first, but you'll slowly eventually get it. But since you've learned the basics, I strongly challenge y'all to get out and try riding. It was pretty fun for me, not gonna lie, and it can definitely be an experience in the future. Thanks for listening.